Hello guys, it is that Panda again. I'm here again with another video, and today we are going to be going through some G2 and G1 and a little bit of G4, just action. These are me just jumping a lot of my clips off, and I will say that we will see some, tower swarms, we will see some base swarms, we will see some zeroing after island, and I do want to touch on that a bit and say that I feel it was very just stupid that the devs kind of changed the protection day until, all the way throughout the event. And then you could get zeroed at the very end, which, makes sense. And I know a lot of people overlooked that it wasn't after the event period ended. But either way, I do feel a lot of people were misled with that information, and they just didn't understand the full, implications that meant, right? So overall, I think a lot of people got screwed over because of that and zeroed. My people didn't get zeroed, my players, but I still felt that it was a really stupid feature. And if the devs were going to do that, they should have at least warned people, especially when you're, telling them that period. And the thing is, it's even worse because you didn't get the 65% troop returns. You literally got your troops back that you might have lost during the island, and then you get zeroed right after you got those troops back. So you literally would get your troops returned, and then you'd be zeroed right away, which was so stupid. I just found it extremely just annoying. I saw it happen in G1. I saw it happen in G2. I did it in G4. It's SMHS, and I feel kind of bad. Even if I didn't like them that much, I feel that it's just really scuffed. They got zeroed like that, just really unfair for them. Also, I don't know if you guys saw those tower reports, but sheesh, that was kind of disgusting. I started actually taking even/bad trades here, and taking even trades in this situation was really not ideal. I mean, Raygro is kind of like anti-swarm, and I mean, there's also the fact that Lewis is up there, meaning that he's dishing out, the circular AoE if, Awaken. I don't think he had his Lewis Awaken, but either way, he was kind of, the thing is, I'm using tier 6, right? The people reinforcing are in tier 6. So the fact that I'm trading even on that tower was actually really unappealing and kind of told me that I might be taking bad trades or just close to even trades, at least might-wise, and that's just not it, overall. And then you guys see some more tower swarms. We were really going, I feel it was really hard for, Loose to defend every tower. So honestly, it was pretty easy to cut these guys off, being that they only were able to, kind of just put themselves in so many towers before they got cut off. And I mean, Nut did all they could, it wasn't on them really that they got put in this situation, all in all. But, nothing much they could do to kind of defend against us. They had to get ANCS to cut us off, which, was fair, right? That was their ally. Had to happen. We got cut off, and I was kind of hoping we'd keep our village, but nope. We got our freaking village snatched too. We got utterly just beat down. Also, some of these commanders that are defending are questionable, like Cynthia and Peter. I don't think you see that every day, Cynthia Peters, Cynthia Martin right there. Why Cynthia Martin? I wouldn't know. I just feel like an utter pain hit my stomach when I see these duos. I mean, I guess Cynthia Martin wouldn't be the worst. I mean, it's not like you need Martin specifically towards, I don't know. I feel the only time you would use Cynthia there is if you're taking on one target, right? Taking on swarms just doesn't work when you're using a hero like that. It just doesn't work, guys. Also, now we're hitting the bases. Let's get it. I'm actually just, I'm just speaking off my head, guys. I'm improvising. I think I've gone crazy. Also, this dude was loaded on resources. I really need these resources because tier 6 are very expensive to heal. I will tell you guys that. I actually felt it firsthand. That island, I felt my balls shrivel up. I felt like I had turned back to my prehistoric age, my years back in middle school, where my balls just hadn't dropped yet, and it really hurt me. Trying to heal those hospital bills was not easy. Definitely had to micro heal a lot. I hope, unlike Rise of Kingdoms, these guys don't end up nerfing micro healing, because I think in Rise of Kingdoms, someone has told me that they do this thing where you get a certain amount of helps, and then you kind of get cut off for the day, right? So you can't really micro heal, and it's just sucky. But yeah, overall, it just sucks, man. I don't like it. I feel that it's stupid and whatever. All right, I think we're about to hop into where we see Capped getting swarmed soon. That's going to be very, very awesome. I wanted to talk about that a bit because I think that it was interesting, and just seeing how the heals go through is going to be pretty cool because he was using Peterson and Lewis, and honestly, you guys will see his wall, he actually started out healing the swarm eventually, and I will say it's of course because some of the swarm was like focusing in the field and trying to like get like people off the field from hitting their marches, but all in all, Captain, dude, Peterson is actually OP. Like, in this situation especially, you guys will see it get into the red and constantly rise back up into, like, the orange, or sorry, the yellow. And you guys will actually see it rise up almost halfway back to its bar, right? And, of course, this is because they're still keeping combat going, right? And the heal ability is still in effect. He's still getting heals off. And I will say, okay, so you can't heal, like, heavily wounded, for example, right? Like, if anybody doesn't know that, only lightly wounded. These guys know how to heal, for example, 1 million lightly wounded already, out of commission in the battle. As long as, the whole battle doesn't refresh, he won't have those lightly wounded back on his wall. But, of course, they're not heavily wounded, meaning they're not in his hospital. So those lightly wounded can be put back in a battle if Peterson is, healing enough. And since these guys went, for example, from 10 marches to maybe like 4 or 3 marches to kind of clear the field, and then they hit back on his base, they're not putting enough pressure on his base to actually outdo the heals that he's getting. And I mean, of course, heals are a double-edged sword if your hospital actually ends up filling up, because you're bringing all these troops back in a battle and they end up getting injured, more going to the hospital, and you end up filling your hospital. In that case, that would be really bad. But all in all, you guys kind of get it, He was actually out healing the swarms on his base, and I don't think he had any deads, and if he did, it was probably little to none, and maybe only reinforcements. Because, I mean, honestly, these numbers on his wall, like, you see, like, how much he's losing every time is actually pretty low when you really consider it. I mean... And some of these are probably reinforcements as well. So just 2K every cycle, actually less than 2K in a lot of these cases, is pretty nice. He's getting good trades. These guys actually just murdered their troops on his wall. They kept trying to get out of battle to swarm the field, and I don't think that was the play, especially when you have high tier 5, tier 6, whatever, and these players attacking you are low tier 5, some probably even tier 4, just trying to force you off his base and give him some breather room, and that's just making his trades even better, just melting RPGs marches more. The healing on Peterson is insane, so he's just out healing these guys. His wall goes back up to a good level to take these swarms, even longer. And I mean, at this point, you're basically spending minutes trying to swarm his wall down for one go, right? And at this point, if he wasn't already out of fury, or if he wasn't, actually in his battle fever, whatever it is, he obviously or probably could just instantly just shield right before he either has his hospital fill or he burns. And I think he does burn there because you see fire on his wall. But either way, I mean, whatever resources they got off his base, I can't imagine being worth more than the amount they lost. That was actually crazy. Also, for some context, from what I know, DBN was either distracted or something. Maybe they weren't paying attention or something, and they ended up losing their village. They weren't able to push, I guess, RPG off that tower because RPG was just holding it with everything they had. So they just left the village. And then one issue I have with the village, for example, is that it's so hard to actually keep control of. If you're if you aren't able to maintain field presence, and that especially goes towards DBN, it is going to be a struggle because although I won't say DBN is weak, of course they have especially if you're, running rallies, for example, with captain in charge, they are not weak. But when it comes to field control, you have a lot of these tier 6 or even, just high tier 5 players from RPG who are able to maintain field control, around a village, and compared to a tower where all you have to do is jump through a base or jump nearby and you don't actually have to have field control to hold a tower. It's different for a village, obviously, where you have to travel pretty long distances, even if it's not extremely long. Also, I don't know if you guys saw that rally, that was disgusting, but you have to travel for decently lengthy distances to actually reach that village and reinforce it. So along that way, you could get swarmed down and whatnot, right? So you actually would have to have field control. You would have to absolutely beat them off, just get rid of them. All in all, you guys kind of get the point, though. It was just definitely a struggle. I will say I think Boone ends up coming down and saving these guys from some of the mayhem. it was mostly like I feel like a lot of this was definitely Boone versus H and B, or sorry, H and B, and then it was DBN versus RPG for the most case. I will say, like, of course Boone assisted them a bit, and I mean, at the end of the day, they are, definitely a much smaller alliance in this bracket. They aren't some weak alliance. I won't say that, because they still are, monsters who were able to hold themselves in G1. But comparable, it's pretty hard to, beat an alliance like RPG, who one has just a lot of time on you, a lot more experience. I think D, I feel like they definitely were doing well, and they definitely knew what they were doing. So, the experience part might not be as valid, since they are pretty smart players, and they are still an older region, though it's only like 200 plus days compared to RPG's, region 3, who is 500 to 600 days. So definitely just a difference in, time, and a lot of their players who are just able to maintain better field presence over, the other average player and the other alliance. So all in all, you guys kind of get my point. It's just definitely way harder for them to, maintain a field presence, meaning that honestly holding that village was kind of insane. I don't know how these guys held the village for so long. Maybe RPG just didn't push back enough. Maybe they were scared that Boone would come and help. I don't really understand what they were up to. Maybe they were waiting for H and B to hold down Boone. All in all, I keep saying all in all. I don't know why I keep saying that word, but you guys get my point. And this was definitely a fun watch. I always love recording this, and I think a lot of you guys do enjoy just watching it. I think the end of the video is coming up, so you guys are going to see some people burning in a second, and it is kind of sad. Like I said, I just wanted to actually put this part in and warn people that the last 12 hours, I will also mention, there is I think, leave thing that will pop up on your screen if you're the one in the thing, like in the region or whatever. So I had to actually record from outside of G4. Like, I couldn't record on the account I was actually attacking with, because it would have showed the big leaf thing, and you wouldn't have been able to really see anything, and it's just not looking appealing. But all in all, you guys kind of get the point. I know DBN had a lot of players get zeroed. Like, ouch, man. DBN definitely had a lot of players get zeroed because they just didn't know that they were probably sleeping. I think a lot of people were just probably sleeping or offline or working, didn't know that they'd be zeroed after the event. Like I said, obviously, I think you should have been able to suspect that possibly you would have been zeroed after reset, right? Because, it doesn't include in the last day, since it's only the events end and you have to leave within those 12 hours. But I do also want to mention that I think to go to home region before that last period, it costs you a random relocation or something, or an actual relocation, or an alliance relocator, whatever, right? Imagine if someone doesn't have that, and you're stuck in an island, and they force you to wait until you can finally hit the leaf thing. Like, what if it's, midnight for somebody? What if it's 2 a.m? What if it's 3 a.m? It's just a really stupid feature, I feel, because some people might not be able to leave. You're forced to shield, whatever. I mean, of course, you should know your consequences going in an island, but that doesn't change the fact how I feel about that feature. I feel it's extremely stupid. I feel like there's so many things that are just wrong about it, and it's just, you shouldn't be able to just straight up zero people at the last 12 hours or whatever. I mean, I get having a feature like that, maybe the last day in general. I did think that it was kind of fair when you're able to zero on the last day, because at least people actually knew about it. You know what I mean? They had the know-how to get out. But if you're kind of saying that you're protected for the whole period of island, it really confuses people. I felt that a lot of people definitely deserved a refund maybe for that, or they should have said it in the fine print. It really hit me the wrong way. But yeah, that's basically the end of the video. You guys just see me over here zeroing some SMHS players. I do appreciate you guys as always for watching, though. I had fun doing this video, and I thank you guys. You guys have an amazing day or night as always, and I will see you guys in another video. Thank you.